Okay, good morning, Gloria High School students. How are you? My name is Prem. You can call me Mr. Prem. Today we are going to talk about something, but before we talk about that, I want to ask you to imagine. Imagine that you have like a rocket or plane that can deliver you to the space and then deliver you to the star or planet. Or what kind of planet or star do you want to visit? Okay, maybe Mars, maybe Jupiter, or you can mention. Now, you wanna say your imagination to your friends. How do you wanna say that? Yeah, some of you correct, some of you not really correct. Okay, how do we say imagination? Today we're talking about second conditional or second conditional sentence. Why? Because by using this kind of sentence, we can express our imagination to our friends or to our parents, by using this kind of structure. Okay, the topic today is just like I mentioned, is second conditional. So if you want to say imagination, if you want to say your imagination to your friends, use this kind of sentence. Okay, you can see in the slide, I want to ask you to imagine for the second time. You can see in the slide. Okay, what you read in the slide? What would you do if you won a lottery? Okay, what you want to say? What you want to do if you won a lottery? Can you make a sentence about your imagination? Yeah, Maxine. Yeah, Maxine would buy a new house for herself and her parents if she won the lottery. Okay, the last sentence. Who else? Yep. The boy over there, John. Yeah. John and his wife would buy would buy a piano if they became rich. Okay, that's true. So in the slide we have two examples here. Can you find the similarity between those examples? Can you see the similarity? Both the sentence use would and also past tense, right? The first sentence use won and then the second use became. So both examples have the same similarity. Why? We will talk about that in the next slide. Okay, next. Okay, why we use the second conditional sentence? As I mentioned before, we use this kind of sentence if we want to say our imagination. Okay, if Mr. Prem say imagination, is it the truth or is it the fact it's really happened or not? Not, right? It's imagination. You imagine. So in fact, it's not happened, but there is an expectation for you about that to be happen in the future. So that's why it's called imagination. Okay, you can pay attention to the slide. There is an example there. There is a guy holding a food, right? So if I that guy on the slide, okay, if I got a job as a chef, the one who cook, I would blah 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 blah. Can you tell that the guy over in the slide is really a chef? No, right? It's not really a chef. He is not a chef because this is the imaginary situation. So he imagined that he become a chef in the future. So he say his imagination by using if I got. So that's the structure of second conditional that we'll talk in the next slide. So this is the imagination. In fact, he's not a chef. Okay, so that's the first sentence. So what's the real structure of second conditional? We will talk about that in the next slide. Okay, next. Okay, how do we make the second conditional? How? So you can see the example. We can read together. If you practiced more frequently, speaking in English would be easier. So can you see after the if, what kind of tenses we are using? What kind of tense we are using? Yes, simple past. Yeah. So we use simple past in the first clause, and then in the next one we use what? You can see in the example, would be. It means would plus infinitive. It can be or other kinds of infinitive. You can add in the second clause. So the first one is simple past, and then the second one would be would infinitive. So that's the structure of second conditional. Okay, the next slide. So in this slide, when you imagine a future, you can use a past tense form after if. Okay, you have to remember that if you see the sentence of second conditional, there is if in the sentence. It obviously after the if you have to use past tense. Okay, after if, that's the rule. Why, Mr. Prem, we have to use past tense? I don't know. English people know that. Okay, that's the rule from the beginning of the time. Not from the beginning of the time. Okay, that's the rule. You have to imagine that. So, for example, like if I move to a big city, I would sell my car. Can you see the sentence use moved, right? It's in the past tense. But we use past tense, it doesn't mean it is in the past. Okay? It actually happened. The fact that he's not moved yet, that's the fact. The fact that I don't move away, that's the fact. And then I don't sell the car, that's the fact. And I am imagining a future possibility, that's the fact. Not happened yet, but he expects that to happen. That's why it's called imagination. So you have to pay attention about that. Okay? Okay, the next one. Okay, the next important thing that you have to do, okay, when you're making conditional sentence, we use were for the past tense be for all subject. Use were. So, for example, in the slide you can see, if I were you, I would buy that house. You see, that kind of be become were, not was. So you have to use were. Okay, and then the next one, she would buy a mansion if she were wealthy. So using were. But sometimes a foreigner or the first speaker will use was. Actually, it's both okay, but it's informal. When you in the academic situation, like in the classroom, in the exercise, or in the doing the examination, you have to do it formally using were, not say was. But if you talk to your friends and then to foreigners, you can say were or was. Okay, both are equally correct in informal situation. Okay, so that's the important. You have to remember that. Okay, we will have a little practice here. Okay, there are 5 examples that we can answer together. You can say the first one. If I blah 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 see him, I would blah 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 him and live. Okay, if I, what we wanna fill in that one? You can say the verb see, right? You still remember after if what we use? Simple past, right? So see become saw him. I would give him a lift. So if I saw him, I would give him a lift. Give become would give, right? Would plus infinitive. Okay. The second one, the table would collapse. Okay. If you blah blah blah, what? Stand or stood? Stood on it. So stand become stood because it's past tense. The next one, if you blah 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 enough food. If you didn't eat, okay, enough food, you would be ill. Okay. The next one, I believe you can do that. If I found your passport, I would call you. Okay. The next one. Yeah, very good. The police would arrest him if they could catch him. Okay. So that's for the lesson today. After this, we will have a practice by your own. I wanna remind you again that using conditional sentence is important because that's our tool to express something imaginary, which is not happened yet, but we expect that to happen in the future. And then the second one, the structure is what? Using past tense and then would plus in infinitive. Okay, that's all for the lesson for today. I hope you understand. Keep healthy, stay healthy, and then wash your hand if you go outside. And God bless you. Bye bye.